Hello, and welcome to another Real Raw Moment. And today's is a little different than what I normally do. I'm going to tell a story about somebody whose photo I'm going to put below. It's me. Shocker. I'm going to tell the story and ask for your opinions. I don't normally do that. I do normally direct my videos towards an outcome or something educational, and I want to bring it around to that as well here. But if you've been following me recently, you know that I've been going through memories, memory boxes, photos, books. I'm lightening my load. I am spring cleaning, downsizing. But really, what I'm doing is a mental, physical, and emotional detox. And I came across this photo, and I was shocked by it. So again, as you watch this, it is in this post, wherever it is. Oh, and my heart grieved for her because I saw the pain. Oh my God. I don't even know how that photo made it into anything other than we were living abroad. And it was the only photo from my kids' school time there that I think they had. I don't know, but it broke my heart. And I wanted to speak to why that photo happened in the first place, why I was feeling those emotions. And it goes back to before, months before that photo was ever taken. So I ask that you bear with me with my story here. And I value your opinions in the comments. So if you rewind, probably, I don't know, a year at the most from that photo, I had just 6 weeks prior had what's called an oophorectomy, which is a complete hysterectomy, which means my ovaries and my uterus and a couple other organs. Plus, I had a complete resection of my abdominal cavity, which meant all the other organs were stitched back into place. I'm not going to go into why that happened. I will in some other video, but not in this one. To say the least, this was the final big surgery that was supposed to put me together like Humpty Dumpty. I was Humpty Dumpty, and this was going to be like, it's going to fix me. After many previous surgeries, 2 childbirths, both traumatic, via C-section, and just a lot of other stuff in a very short period of time. I mean, when I look back, that was only within a 3-year period, which isn't much. Having incubated and given birth to kids, 3 surgeries after that, and then this massive invasive surgery. A surgery in which the I got like a raw throat today. The option to have more children was taken away. There's a lot of other psychology with it. I, at the time, was just grateful to have been done with the pain. And my memories of that time, they're whirlwind. They're not, I can give you lots of really key moments. I can't give you day-to-day stuff. And while I do this video, I do want to preface it with, while I don't agree with how this next outcome happened in my marriage, I'm also not going to slag my ex and say that he was horrible the whole time, because he wasn't. He did the best he could, except for this moment. Because I believe, with everything that I've learned and everything I've been through, that it could have turned out better or differently. But I'm going to let you decide, actually. I have my own opinions, but I'm going to let you decide. So, after, I don't know, 6 weeks, it was 6 weeks. I don't know. 6 weeks after this massive surgery, which there were still complications from. my husband and I went up to Whistler. So I'll be transparent. I live in Vancouver, BC. Uh, Whistler is a part of our life here. It's an hour and a half away. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. That's okay. It was a favorite place of ours, favorite place of mine. And we went up there without the kids. A very rare event. And for the first time, we went out and we had dinner. And I remember sitting at this restaurant that we go to. I remember the exact seat on this little side piece, like 3 tables, bistro tables. We were outside, we were in the middle table, sun was shining. This would have been, my surgery was May 15th, so this would have been right around or just after the Canada Day long weekend, July 1st. So it was warm, beautiful. And ironically, I can't remember where we stayed during that time, but I can remember all the facets of this. I remember sitting at this table in the sun with my husband. I was weak still, and I felt guilty as hell for the fact that I'd been sick, that I caused the family all of this pain and trauma. Now, none of it was self-inflicted. If you're to look at my medical records or hear me talk about it, it's not a rational response, but it was my response. But in that moment, I just felt like, okay, the world is turning my way. I survived these really invasive surgeries. My kids are both healthy. I have my husband still. And here we are on a little getaway to celebrate this, getting through it. And I remember sitting there in the sun, and we had a glass of wine, and I don't remember what we ordered. But I remember the start of the conversation like it's yesterday, and I can't tell you all the words, but what came out of it was this stuttering, long kind of lead up to, the company has offered us, it was us, the opportunity to move to another country. My husband was looking at me expectantly. Now, this country, he spoke the language, wasn't that far away. And of course, it was a opportunity, a corporate opportunity. And neither him nor I had ever been adverse to advancing careers. We're both very driven. We're both very, and he knew that. We're both very business-minded. That's partly why we were together. And in that moment, upon reflection, I feel he's talking to business Natalie, not Natalie who had just, given birth traumatically twice and a few other surgeries and just had half of her guts taken out. What came out of it, though, was something that I reflect on, and I don't know really what to think about it. I have regret. And also, as I educate myself over what's happened now, that was 2018, so that's 16 years ago. I kind of know-ish what was going on, I think. But let's see what you think. In the moment where my husband was telling me this with excitement, it was the most excitement and engagement I'd had from him, I don't know, since I first got sick years ago. And I also felt guilt. I felt guilt that I had not carried my children in a way that was just simple and straightforward. And that even after I had both of them, and they're both miracles, I was still sick after. Sick, surgeries, multiples, and then this final surgery. It was final. It just had a defining moment. And I remember looking in his eyes and sitting there and sitting around these surroundings that I had the privilege of even being in. And I felt I owed him to say yes. Now, I've never been one to shy away from a challenge, certainly not in business, even in my marriage. But I had changed in those couple of years, 3 years, in a way that I don't think he had. There was a gap, a chasm that he just didn't get. I don't know. I'm bringing all this up with the obligation I felt to say yes, and that, looking back at the photo below, that's a photo of me in Mexico City with my children at their English-speaking expat school. And that picture says it all. I don't know what would have happened if I'd said no. I didn't have the strength. I didn't have the audacity after I caused the family so much pain by being sick. But now, having gone through alienation twice, and yes, with the same person, I am reflecting on what that actually was. Was it simply circumstance and I didn't stand up for myself? Or was it coercive control? I don't know. As I learn more, I actually tend to lean into naming it as coercive control. Because while this person, my husband, didn't necessarily say evil words to make me feel guilty, he also didn't make me feel safe. And that's the distinction in some of this stuff. Just because there isn't an evil or directed intent doesn't mean that something approaching you isn't coercive control. I will say that this is a very hard video for me to produce. And at the same time, I think it's absolutely necessary. I look at this photo and my heart breaks for her again. Because I feel everything that she's feeling. And to those on the outside who knew me during that time, they could look at that time and period thinking it was all great. We were a golden couple. We had a black tie, privileged club farewell party. We traveled back and forth. We had all these things. And yeah, we did. We did. And what good did it do? I don't know what else to say. I wanted to share this photo and share this moment and share this circumstance with you. And see what you thought. Having seen this photo, I'm taken back and I'm working through my own emotions and feelings about it. And I wanted to just hug that girl and tell her it's okay. And so I am telling her, because it's me, that's okay. You did the best you could with what you had. You thought you had to do what you had to do. Was it the right thing, the wrong thing? I don't know. What I do know is I want to learn from it and ensure that when my alienated children, well, now my son, I have my daughter, come back to me, that I can speak to it and not repeat history. Let me know your thoughts below.